When I was very young, my dad sent me to a private school, me and my brother, and that was the Episcopal Academy in Philadelphia. And I had middle school, a wonderful opportunity to start drawing. I had a little bit of that in me, as did my sister, but I did start at about the fifth or sixth grade and had a wonderful instructor. And I think that's what turned me on early on. I started there. Then I went off to Lawrenceville School, boarding school, and I didn't have much help there. And then I finally went to a place called St. George's School in Newport, Rhode Island. It's another boarding school. My dad had been a Marine, he'd been in the South Pacific, so my mom was really responsible for educating her four children while he was away. And that's when I really started to concentrate on my art. And I had a wonderful Dick Grosvenor, the Grosvenor family, a famous National Geographic family, was my instructor. He was also my wrestling coach. I wrestled. And we had a great bond together. And he taught me a lot about all the different things, not about oil pastel. We didn't have that, and we didn't have acrylics in those days, but we had oil and we had charcoal. And so that's kind of where I started. And you'll see some of this behind me is these two. That's the Connecticut River, on the Connecticut River, that one in the corner. And then I got into the thing that you've got me excited about, which is portrait painting. But I was doing that with charcoal. And that's, you don't have to have all these wonderful different colors. So I did those. Those are a number of years ago. And then I started concentrating on my oils, and the one behind you, the great big one, was really the first one in my college years. That was a senior sort of project, one of our senior projects. And that's an oil. It's based partly on the area around Penn State, which is in the Nittany Mountains. And I began to spread out a little bit more with the oil paintings. And on the left of that big one there, you'll see, and that's a place called, well, it's above Nittany Valley, and it is a lovely lake in the central Pennsylvania area. And that was another oil. I did that when I was after I actually left Penn State. So that's pretty much it, Ron, with my oils. So then I started years later doing acrylics. I was a pilot for 60 years, had my own airplane for 40. So that took a huge chunk of my time, and I put my artwork kind of aside. And then, as you know, I got involved in restoring antique tractors and trucks. So I had all these hobbies going on. Eventually, I came back and started really painting again with Tom Freeman. And Tom was my instructor over in Lake Wales, and we had a wonderful relationship. I took, I think, 3 courses from him, and most of it was in oils, and he's a landscape artist, and I really loved that. So I kept trying to develop all of that. I did some acrylics in his class. I did very little oil paintings. And then, lo and behold, I discovered oil-based pastels. And we didn't have that in college. And so I started little by little. And many of the things that you see here, that one in the corner, these here, that's a Scutney Mountain and where my brothers live in New Hampshire with the bridge. That one there is in Orlando. I can't remember what the lake is, but the bridge is, on your right side is Vermont, on the left side is New Hampshire, and that's a Scutney Mountain and the Connecticut River. And that bridge is one of the oldest in the country. So I sort of branched out there from that, and I messed a little bit more with watercolors. I wasn't very good at it. And the one on the left down here on your left shoulder, is a view from our place in North Carolina in Blowing Rock. And all the rest of these, most of them, Ron, are oil-based pastel. And I love working with them because the colors, the winter scene is my brother's barn. He had a sugaring operation, which he doesn't. He's 86 now and he can't do it anymore. But that's again a Scutney Mountain in the background. Above that is a little one that my wife likes. It's obviously the Bach Tower, and from a point in Mountain Lake, with the mountain lake in the front and the Bach Tower in the back. And the rest of these are scenes that I've seen going down to our barn, which is east of Fort Meade. And we have almost 400 acres down there. But if you take the back roads, you see, this is what I love about Florida, these things here. This one here is actually my family's plantation home, which was back in 1710, was owned by Rutledge Parker. And my grandmother grew up in that house for the first 7 years of her life. She was born there, and it is now a bed and breakfast in Georgetown, South Carolina. It's absolutely beautiful. So that one over there behind you, I didn't tell you, that's a watercolor. And I did that after taking, no, the one on the bottom. I did that after taking my first class with you, because you got me back into watercolors. And that is a farm that's just on the other side of the hill where my youngest brother lives. And Elmer Bartlett was a self-taught artist. And I fashioned that after a painting that he did of his home back in the late 1800s.